Welcome to Wine and Real Estate, the podcast where we drink wine, we have fun, and we learn about real estate investing. Real estate investing is so much more than just buying buildings. It's about building relationships, building your dreams, building your dream lifestyle, customizing your life. What do you want to do? What do you want to achieve? It's much more than money. It's more than getting rich. It's a different type of wealth. It's the wealth of time, the wealth of freedom. And now let's get to the wine and the real estate. Hello, everyone. So at the time of this recording, it's still water and real estate. I'm at day 45 of my 75 hard challenge. January was really exciting. I bought 4 properties because I made this 75 hard plus real estate, and I'm drinking my water. I'm down to have one more bottle of this to drink tonight, and I have an awesome guest. So we're going to learn about learn about flipping land. I haven't had wine. And so tonight our guest is Ray, joining us from beautiful Florida. I'm jealous. In Ottawa right now, it is warm. It's 7 Celsius. No clue what that is in Fahrenheit, but for us in February, it's warm. The snow is melting, but you're in a much more pleasant climate. So welcome, Ray. If you could tell us about yourself and how you got into land flipping.
Absolutely. So thank you for inviting, by the way. And so I came from China about 11 years ago. I instantly became homeless after that. So I have so I have to flip something to keep surviving, right? So I was living in the car, drive around and pick up stuff and flip them. So that I love flipping, and it's just a great way to make a lot of money. And then I transferred from the free stuff to cars. And about 4 years ago, I transferred from cars to land. So I can right now flip land anywhere I want in the United States, of course. I can be anywhere I want. So I can go back to China. I can still do business here. So
yeah, that's the lovely part about a lot of real estate investing, especially land. I mean, you're not dealing with, well, you could have tenants like cash crops and things, but they don't need much like land property management or anything like that. Whatever they do is kind of their problem. So yeah, can you tell us more like land flipping? I've heard about it, but I have no clue how you do it.
So I mainly do infills. So infill lots is different than rural land. So rural land is you drive around and you only see land. But infill lots is you drive around, you see a lot of houses, but in the middle of it, you see land. So that's infill lots. So I flip that mainly about 30 to 90 minutes from the major growing city. Like if you are in Dallas, we don't really do in Dallas, but we do about 30 to 90 minutes away from those areas.
Okay.
So it's less competitive and you still have a lot of buyers.
Yeah, I was going to say, because I'm thinking about a lot of cities that I know, and yeah, you see lots of infill, but the land is not affordable. It's usually more than buying a house, tearing it down, and then rebuilding. So infills as well in Canada. In the US, I know it's more common. There's more kind of urban renewal. We're not here. We are seeing that, but not to the extent. I invest in Detroit, so there's even urban farming, which I never thought I'd see, or Buffalo. The southern states, I think, are not as bad for like urban blight and decay. So I'm sure you're investing in markets that are kind of up and coming, or there's like a move for densification, or.
Yeah, absolutely. So I buy sometime this year. I bought about 23 land this year. I actually didn't post any for sale because they're all in great states like Florida, Texas, Tennessee, South Carolina. I just keep them,
Yeah, why not?
Yeah, so one day it will be worth a lot more. But right now, if I want to sell it, already can double or triple my money already right now.
That's amazing. So how is it, like tax sales or what? How are you getting those lots for cheap? Because usually they're not cheap.
Yeah, I actually don't suggest people to buy any land in the tax auction because there could be a title issue there.
Yeah.
But I do what I do is I just send the postcard to all the area. Like if I choose a county first, a market first, and then I mail the postcard or an offer letter to the entire landowners. And when the call comes back and negotiate again on top of that offer price.
Okay. So you're dealing usually with owners that have held that land maybe for a while, or there used to
Mm-hmm.
be property or a house of some kind. It's
Yep.
now gone, and they don't know what to do with it.
Yep.
How do you finance all that as well? Like, is it all your cash or?
Yeah. So, in the U.S., the land may be worth a little bit less than Canada land. So we buy them for like sometime under 100,000, and
Oh,
some land is even like couple thousand.
oh
So
my goodness. Okay. Yeah, here, like where I live, under 400,000, you probably don't get anything.
yeah,
Maybe a
yeah.
parking space.
One parking lot. Yeah,
Yeah.
but in the States, 400,000 can get you a really good land anywhere.
Okay.
So
Wow.
yeah, so I guess that's a opportunity here, right? So
Yeah, that's it. And I keep telling my audience and my students as well. I also coach. I see you coach. I coach more just their traditional real estate investing,
mm,
but land flipping sounds interesting as well. We need diversity of currency. So right now the US dollar is quite strong.
mm,
It's harder when you're buying, you're exchanging Canadian funds, but then you earn American income, which is great. I
mm,
was just doing my income taxes for some of my properties in other
mm.
countries that are dollarized, and I thought I was great. I'm like, whoa, the money's going up while the Canadian dollar is going down, but I'm still earning more every month from my other currencies. So
Yeah, yeah. So because of the inflation, all the money value going down. But
yeah,
as far as the U.S., it's just going down a little bit slower because we're the reserve currency. But there's no way you can avoid that, the inflation part. But to buy land or buy houses is a great way to keep your money safe in somewhere.
yeah, you're buying hard assets and land. I mean, they're not making anymore, so you
Yep.
can subdivide it. Like you said, you can do infills. So, what are creative ways? Like, can you maybe walk us through a scenario? You send postcards, somebody
Mm.
calls you, I have a lot for sale. Like, how do you analyze it to know if it's a good market or good area?
So that's actually a two-part. So first of all, before we send out the postcard, we got to make sure that's a good area already.
Yeah.
So how do you know it's a good area? Is you have to have at least, I tell my student, at least 40 sold in the entire county
Okay.
to know for owning land, by the way, to know that's a good county to mail to. And if you after you mail it to them, and then you just look at the sold price nearby, what's the for sale price nearby, and then you determine the value of that land. And typically, we already offer about 40 to 55 cents on the value of the land. So when people call us back, they're already motivated to sell. And
Okay.
on top of that, we negotiate again. So sometimes we get land like 10 cents on the dollar, you know?
Wow.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah. So
amazing. And then you can potentially flip it. So you buy it at 10 cents on the dollar, you could sell it at what would make sense? Five, like
90,
90?
80,
Okay.
85. We post it with the realtors, so we try to target the retail buyers.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then you get a premium and it makes sense. Or as you said, you would keep some of the better lots for yourself. Do you develop them or you just kind of wait and see when the opportunity comes or
I flipped over 100 lots last year. I never been to any land. I never developed anything. I never did any uh, value add on any
Okay.
land. So we bought it. It's just a purely negotiation game. So land is just by chance the product. So it has nothing to do with the land. We just negotiate to very low price, and we just try to double or triple our money right there.
Wow. So the
Yeah.
land is your currency.
Correct. Correct. So the good thing about land investing is, if you don't sell, you earn money as well because there's appreciation. And if you sell, of course, you get your money back and there's some profit. That's a very good business. But think about the clothes we wear, right? So if you're in the clothing business, what happens next year if you don't sell this year's clothes?
Yeah.
probably get have to throw it away or huge discount, right? So
You're stuck with it. I'm not super familiar with this, but does the 1031 exchange work for land or not? Like you're paying capital gains every time, or
yeah, probably not work for this. So
yeah.
you got to pay the capital gain, and some cases we just hold it for more than a year, so the taxes will be slightly lower.
Okay, so
Yeah.
that's the trick. More than a year, then it goes down a bit.
Yep. And
But
plus
you
I
kind
live
of
in
this.
yeah, plus I live in Florida, so there's no income tax. And I do have some student that actually live in Canada, and they have to pay like a foreign taxes as well.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So
that's one thing I did learn about Florida the hard way. Is as foreigners there is an extra tax, and then
yep.
Canada does tax all our income wherever we are. So
Wow.
kind of like Americans, if you move away, you're still taxed. But Canada, you could sever your tax ties. But anyway,
Hmm.
that's quite a process. So.
Yep. Yeah. Absolutely.
So how do you recommend someone start this? Like, how do you find out more about land flipping?
Yeah, so land flipping, I think first of all, you need to make sure that that's your that's the thing you want to do, right? So I tell people all the time whenever you start a business, you always want to focus. You don't want to do multiple things at the same time, right?
Yeah,
You don't want to do land and let's do another apartment thing, and you do apartments, let's do the house thing, right? So
yeah,
that's not gonna work. So people get this reverse where um, we do business, we need to extremely focus, or my mentor call it laser focus,
yeah,
and on one thing. And when we do investment, you do not want to focus because investment is a way that you keep your money. Business is a way to make money. And when you keep your money, you need to diversify. Do some stocks, maybe crypto, maybe land, maybe houses, maybe apartments, maybe some other thing like jewelries, right? So diversify your investment everywhere you can think of. But when there's a crash, it doesn't crash all everything. You know,
no, that's it.
yeah, yeah. So, but when right now I see people they earn a lot of money and then they go bankrupt. Why is that? Because they put everything, all their money in one thing, right?
Yeah,
Imagine you put your money on FTX, the crypto thing. Good luck, right? So you never get your money back.
no, I know there's
Yeah.
several scandals in Canada of cryptocurrencies that have gone bankrupt. People's like really young people stealing millions. If I think I
Mm.
read $1 billion as well, which is nuts. And people put all their money there, and
Yeah.
yeah, now they're in trouble. So it's good to have this as part of a balanced portfolio of investments.
Absolutely. So you can also use this land investing as actually a way to preserve your money. If you
Yeah.
don't want to make money, that's fine. It's a way that you can keep your money very safe because you
Warren
got
Buffett's number one rule,
yeah,
don't lose my money. So
yeah,
there you go. You park it somewhere safe,
yeah.
and then you go from there. So
All right. So you got to learn it first, and so that you don't get you don't buy a land for super high. I just talked to a seller just now. That land worth about 20 grand. He bought it for 140,000, and
oh wow.
he still own after 10 years of ownership, he still own mortgage on that land. And
Yeah.
I said to him, you definitely got screwed there. So, you know,
Oh, that's a tough mistake. So can you get financing on land, or it's all cash deals like hard money lenders, or
yeah, there are some company that actually fund land deals. A few of them does, but bank typically do not like land
yeah, they want a
to finance.
building on it.
Yeah, absolutely, because they don't know how to value it. So that's why we have a niche here, because most people have no idea how much their land is worth.
Yeah, that's it.
And they go by the assessed value. That's not like yeah, American every county has an assessed value for your land.
Yeah, for
They
taxes.
Yeah, so they thought that's the value of the land. That's not.
No, could be
Yeah,
worth a lot more. Usually assessment is lower than the
yeah,
value, I would hope anyway.
yep. In most of the areas, yes.
Especially well, you're buying raw land, so there's no well, it's not there's nothing built on it.
Mm-hmm.
So again, the assessment is quite low
Mm-hmm.
compared to something that's been built. So, but how do you manage like property taxes and things like that? Because that could get expensive, I guess, or
Yeah, so I just have to pay them if you keep it long term. If I have in mind I want to sell this very shortly, I just don't pay them until the buy there's a buyer, right?
okay,
So
and
we
then you
can
do the adjustment and
yeah we can do the settlement. Maybe we pay half and half. Maybe I pay it all.
yeah,
Yeah.
makes sense. Great. So where are you seeing the opportunities? You mentioned a few southern states. Are there some hot spots that you're envisioning or
Yeah, so I teach people all the time. When you do land investing, the first step is to look at market in the general sense. So you want to look at the states first to see if that state is even a good state to do market to
yeah.
do land investing because you don't want a state that losing people.
No,
There
that's it.
yeah. So, for example, New York, Illinois, or California, they're losing a ton of people right now,
Yeah, they're all
right?
going to Florida.
Right. So, in this macro vision, if you look at those states, you want to do business inside, and you bought a land, and the builder will less likely to build a house, so your land will be stuck on the market for a long time.
Yeah.
Uh, but first of all, we need to see if there is a lot of people moving into the states you want to do business. There's a term you can Google. It's called migration trend 2022 or 2023. So you can see where people are moving to
Okay.
instead of moving from. So you don't want those moving from states.
Yeah.
You want to move into states. Yeah. So and that's the first thing I look. And second thing I would look at the job growth. So real estate follows job growth. And if you look at states like Michigan, I just read the report this morning. Michigan has number 1% job growth. So that's a lot of job growth percentage. And you can absolutely do business there because there's automotive, there's a lot of different companies there, and with that kind of job growth, your money is very safe, right?
Yeah.
And that's a second thing. And the last thing I would look at is I want to look for states that have less state tax.
Yes.
So that matters a lot because people want to move to states that have to pay less taxes. Florida is one. There's absolutely no zero. It's zero state tax. The tax is zero. Tennessee is zero. All those states are very good markets, and then we can go inside and see which market is good.
Yeah, because within that there's like micro climate, well, not climates, but regions, I guess, that are more conducive to growth.
Yeah.
Just like Florida. I mean, you're in Jacksonville from what I understand. So
Yeah.
again, that's a city that is growing, but I'm sure inland there's probably some smaller towns and cities that are
Mm,
not
yeah.
as interesting to buy into because they're too far.
Yeah. Absolutely. For example, I moved to Jacksonville about a year and 4 months ago. Right after I came here, I started to buy land here. I bought some land for like as cheap as 4,000, 5,000.
Wow.
It's a buildable, and by then it worth about 8,000, 10,000. And right now the price doubled. I didn't even sell it. I just keep it,
That's
right? So
amazing.
yeah, yeah.
You could buy it with a credit card, basically. Not ideal,
Absolutely.
but you could.
Yeah, yeah. Everyone can do this. That's one thing about United States. The land is cheap, right? So
Yeah, it's shocking because I mean the population is growing, but as you said, it's not everywhere. Like Florida, California is losing people in several states. We're
mm,
seeing the same here. There's different provinces and cities that are more on a decline. Well, not so much, but some areas that are more remote, people are moving away from and going to the
mm,
larger cities. So those trends you have to keep an eye out. And
yeah.
when do you know when is the right time to sell?
I would just could probably keep it, and then when everyone try to buy, that's probably the time to sell.
Okay.
right? So right now it's in a recession, right? Everyone is trying to sell, so that's
Yeah.
very good for us. And 2023 and the next year could be the best 2 years for investors to make a ton of money.
Yeah,
You
because
know,
you're gonna buy
yeah,
cheap. People are panicking.
yeah,
Prices are going down. There's a lot of I just watched a video. Lots of layoffs in the U.S. as well in
mm,
some areas, so it's causing some panic. We're having the
mm,
opposite. The unemployment rate is going down, down. We just have such a shortage of people in Canada. It's
mm,
unbelievable.
yeah,
But the opposite's happening. So people are panicking, which creates an opportunity for those that have cash and
mm.
the means to invest.
Yeah, absolutely. And kind of just have less people, I guess. Bigger area, less people. When I remember when I was there, I talked to an old lady, and she said the life here is a little bit scary because every time she wants to see human being, she has to turn on the TV and see TV there. I was like, couldn't be that bad, right? So but anyway, so to your point, yes. So people are panicking already. I bought a land for $300 last week.
Oh my.
Yeah, so the land worth easily 5 or 6 thousand. So
Oh my
just
goodness.
people need money to live.
So you could sell it quickly, or like you said, sit on it, keep it longer, and maybe it's going to be worth 15,000 in a few years. Or
Yeah, yeah. It's not a lot of money either, so I just keep it, I guess.
yeah, yeah. Why
Yeah,
not? What's the risk?
yeah.
Great. And what if people want to find out more? I understand you're part of a mastermind called the Family.
Hmm.
Can people join the family, or how
I
does it
think
work?
I think they have a revenue requirement, but if you want to get hold of me anytime, I have an Instagram account. You guys use it there, right?
Yes.
Okay, awesome. My Instagram is called Virtual Flip Land, so VIRTUAL Flip Land, LAND.
Okay, that's
Yeah,
easy enough. And then
yeah.
we can follow you and find out about what you're doing and where you're buying land. But you don't visit it. I would be curious. I know you don't have to, but I'd be curious to go see, hey,
Mm,
what's this about and what's growing on it. And but
yeah.
it's infill land, so I guess it's not as exciting as looking at a forest or something.
Yeah, absolutely. There's some forests on the infill lots too, but not too much.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I have some friends doing rural land. Their rural land is huge, right? Like
Yeah.
100 acres. That's exciting to see.
Yeah, absolutely. While what you're buying is smaller lots for homes or commercial or strictly residential or
Yeah, only for a residential infill buildable lots.
okay,
Yeah, yeah.
great. And do you do any due diligence when you're buying it to make sure like there's no oil spill or something else, like some sort of pollution on the land or
It's rarely has a pollution problem here. As long as your land is not next to a gas station.
yeah,
Uh, yeah, so that's a hazard you need to avoid. But normally, just in between the houses, what do we check is you want to make sure that's not a wetland, not a landlocked. Wetland means there's water all the time. Maybe not all the time. Sometimes it's raining and the land will be wet. Landlocked means there's no access to the land. You have to step on other people's property to get
yeah.
into your land.
So you need a
Yeah,
right of way of some kind, and if it's
yeah,
not available, then it's not worth much.
absolutely. Yeah, there's
Great.
something. Yeah, just have to make sure you don't buy junk. Yeah,
No, well, that's it. Or overpay, as you mentioned earlier. That's overpaying big time. And that's what causes issues. I mean, this person could have bought several lots for that price, and now they're
mhm,
stuck with one that's just not gonna do anything for them.
yeah, and they have to pay a HOA fee every single month. So
Oh yeah, because it's in an HOA.
yeah.
Is that's something I was curious about with all those gated communities in more of the southern states? Are
Mhm.
those good opportunities? Because sometimes you see like a development and then there's a few lots that are they never
Mhm.
sold or
Yeah, so that could be a opportunity for sure. I flip some HOA. There's a land with HOA. You can definitely flip them, But there's two things you need to be really careful. One is you have to figure out what's the transfer fee
Yeah.
when you bought the land, right? And the second thing is you have to make sure that the previous owner does not owe any HOA fees.
Okay.
Yeah, so I have some cases that the owner lied to me and he owed like 15,000 on the HOA
Oh,
fee, and
makes a big difference.
yeah, so HOA fee, the transfer fee could be only a couple $100, but in some area, in like a small island or very close to the golf course, you need to be really careful because those charge about 10,000, 15,000 to transfer to your name
Wow.
alone.
That's
That's
it.
yeah.
So the
That's a lot.
next person buying it, when you try to flip it at some point, again, will have to pay that fee. So you have to build it into your price or pay it, and it
Yep.
may make it hard. So okay,
Yeah.
something to be aware of.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Great. Well, thank you very much, Ray, for sharing a little bit about your knowledge and your information. I invite everybody to check out on Instagram, Virtual Flip Land. I will check it out for sure. I am intrigued. I've got $300. Maybe I could buy a piece of land, or 1,000 or
Yeah.
5,000. I mean, that's easy enough to find and round up. And then the possibilities are kind of endless, it sounds like. So that's
Yeah.
great.
Absolutely. Thank you so much again.
Thank you. Take care.